Hello everybody, hey there, it's HeroicLegend here. Um, I don't know if this is going to come out fine. I am not using my own equipment right now, and this is just due to a minor little bug. But I still want to make sure that I recorded and got everything out, because I don't know if I'm going to be in a recording mood later. It was a rough night. It was a rough night. But I'm really excited because of the recent announcement that got made. Now, if any of you follow my Twitter or, have seen bits on the channel, you might have noticed that I have been doing Monster Hunter Stories 2 for a while, and I've been kind of skipping it. It's honestly regrettable for me to say this, but I really do feel like I'm not getting the enjoyment out of this that I really wish I was. A lot of it's kind of... a lot of the little things that upset me have grown to become more and more upsetting in simple terms. There was a lot of fun and, spark there in the beginning, and I was excited for it, but just... I feel like sometimes with RPGs especially, if you don't catch on to that, to what excited you about it soon enough fast enough in the LP and hold on to it, it just drops for you hard. And there was really nothing much that the game could, throw at me to surprise me with. Once I saw, Tigrex, for example, it just got a variant, and I don't know, just a lot of it was starting to grow stale for me, and I felt like I was more forcing it, so I've decided to either put it on hold or just entirely drop it. I know heroic dropping or putting something on hold indefinitely, it's unheard for. Well, the thing is, I'm probably going to come back to Monster Hunter Rise later on, so you can take this as both an announcement to the new LP and what's to come. I've just been enjoying Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and I might make a return to God Eater 3 and Three Houses. I've of course been doing Xenoverse on the side, and as you've probably seen here, you know that I have Master Duel on here and Unite as well. You probably won't be seeing Unite much on the channel, if I'm being entirely honest. Recording from consoles, at least as of late, has been kind of ugh for me. But there is a reason why I bought you here, and that's why the videos this week, at least, or at least today, are going to be very short. Because it is an announcement of the new LP and kind of things to come. So, hopefully for this new LP, I do end up finishing it. Now, there could be some problems with it. There's obviously my own idea of how I want to tackle it. It's not going to be a challenge run or anything. Some of you may also know that... Well, actually, a little potential of something to come in the future, I guess. So, this isn't going to be the LP that's coming up, but this is a potential. So, for anyone who's watched the channel or has, visited the channel, you might notice that I played... Yeah. You may recognize at least the robot and the little monster there. The male characters, well, the characters don't look... Yep. This is the Final Fantasy Legend Collection. As of right now, I have beaten, off-screen, Final Fantasy Legend 1. On the channel, you've seen me beat Legend 2. And I might do a playthrough for Legend 3. Now, the stories are, I think, very different from each other. I can't quite remember how drastically 1 and 2 were, and I couldn't really find any connecting themes. I was considering, I think I'm going through a playthrough right now for 2. I don't quite remember where I'm at in that one, and I'm sure I'll figure that out. And who knows, maybe I'll revisit it at some point in the future, just to be like, this was fun, I want to go through it again, but this time without the speed up button, or at least without my favorite version of the speed up button, and that is the GBA totally okay to do button. Legend 1, I don't know how exactly I feel about it in terms of replaying it for the channel, but I haven't seen any... I've only seen a little bit of 3, and I think that 3 might be very fun, especially with how they change up everything. So yeah, that's a potential for the channel. Salt and Sanctuary got its sequel game out recently, Salt and Sacrifice. The unfortunate thing to that is it is on the Epic Game Store. And thoughts and opinions aside on the exclusivity they have currently with, I believe, consoles and the Epic Game Store, I don't feel like I want to constantly open up 2 different loaders just to record one game, as I don't know if that's going to put, stress on my GPU and hard drive. And even if it doesn't, it's I don't know. I don't feel like I feel like, due to my bitterness with the Epic Game Store for like snatching up this very almost random IP to me. Like, I know Sony has the whole thing with Bloodborne, but Elden Ring and the Souls franchise are pretty much available everywhere. I mean, you see that right there. Speaking of, I have still been considering, I guess not really even revisiting, because I didn't play too much into Dark Souls when I was first doing it on the channel, due to the fact that Games for Windows Live was a thing, and Ding Dong the Witch is Dead, Witch Old Witch the Wicked Witch. But yeah. However, aside from possible things in the future, games that I still want to beat and have in my backlog, there is a new game which I do want to play, and I want to do for you all. This is another game from my past, so it's not something recent, so you're not going to see a lot of new reactions. But, to kind of stall a little bit more... Wrong thing. Oh, actually, there's also, the Heroic YouTube account, for just in case I need it. If by hovering over this you haven't gotten it yet, there's no hope for you. Yep, that's right. The new LP, using the Nintendo 64 bit. Sorry about that pause there. I had a hiccup burp thing. Kirby and the Crystal Shards. Now, I have a personal attachment to this game due to the fact that when I was very little, if my grandpa was here, he'd be like, every time I went, I have an attachment to this game, a very big one. This is due to the fact that when I was little, I didn't really play, I hate that I keep saying, I hate it so much. I'm sorry, Pop-Up, it doesn't leave my vernacular. When I was little and I used to be playing games, I had... gaming had 2 options for me. I could try to play it, or I could watch my brother play it. I could watch Jamer. There was a long list of games from our childhood that I used to watch him play when we were really little, before we got a GameCube, which was around... Gosh, I think maybe my 8th birthday is when we got a GameCube, and we started getting games for it and renting from Blockbuster. But the games that we had were Banjo-Kazooie, Paper Mario. I don't know if we had any of the Legend of Zeldas. And I know we didn't have Super Mario. We might have had Yoshi's Story, or we might have just kept renting it. We had also Donkey Kong Country 64 and Bomberman 64. Bomberman was a constant rental, and then eventually we just, time took its toll on Blockbuster. Now, of the games I loved watching Jamer play, it was always Banjo-Kazooie, Paper Mario, and the other game we had, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. I absolutely loved this game, but as a child, I could never beat it. Now, this might have been because I was probably 6, maybe 5 or 4 at the time. But I loved it. I loved watching it. This was my first real introduction to Kirby. And after this, there was the Game Boy Advance games. Yes, that was my next introduction to it. After we'd gotten Game Boy Advances for, definitely it was Christmas. And of course, Jamer got the games first, because his birthday came immediately after. So any real games that he wanted, he would get. I have to wait until friggin' the summer before I got my games for my birthday. But Kirby was one of them, and I've never beaten it. I've either had to have Jamer help me. And even then, I kept just dropping it because I would get frustrated. I'm a little kid, I'd have Jamer play it for me, and I'd watch him just, like, I saw him beat it once, and that was it. And this is pretty much where my love of Kirby started. If you follow me on Twitter, you know how much I absolutely love the character of Kirby. HeroicLegend loves Kirby as well. He's my main in Smash Brothers. Everything about the little puffball was my favorite. I woke up early, even thanks to Kirby 64 and Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland and all. Granted, not the old one, so I wasn't an OOG. But I used to remember waking up Saturday mornings when my grandmother would come over to look after us, and I'd watch the Kirby show, along with the standard 4 kids lineup, Ultimate Muscle, Sonic X, TMNT, sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh! Or if it was on, sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I don't remember the other stuff that was on that block, but I certainly do remember it. But yeah, say hello to Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, as will be played on my channel, because, as I've said before, well, probably not on the channel, but certainly in real life, if you want something done, you might just have to do it yourself. I'd love to see some of my favorite YouTubers playing this too, and with it being here, there's a chance for that. But right now, no one's doing it, so this is going to be the new LP for the channel. It's probably going to go by quick, if I'm being entirely honest with myself, just because of how much older I've gotten and how much more work I can do. The only real thing I can see maybe slowing it down is if I try to go too fast. Or again, if I'm possibly misremembering the length. But if you're worried about the game, I don't think it's aged poorly. I think it's aged just fine. A lot of the newer Kirby games are way more forgiving. This is one of the older, harder ones where every hit smacks out your power, and live system, as well as a very, very small HP bar. 6 hits and you're done. But I'd like to think I've gotten better with age. I certainly hope I have. Remembering the buttons is going to be the real challenge here. But hopefully y'all join me for that journey, and we'll see how well things go. Anyway, with that, I hope that you all enjoy this little, I guess, minor update video. It probably won't be in a playlist or anything. It'll probably just, on the channel, and then that's it. But, thank you all for watching. Do hope you enjoyed. Get hyped for it if you're a Kirby fan. I'm certainly going to be hyped for it. And, until next video, I just want to say, laters.